So one of the best components of this TikTok storytelling experience has been the comments I get from readers. And after I did that peyote one, I shouldn't say readers, listeners. One of those listeners who said that she was surprised that I did peyote in a non-ceremonial situation, and that made me think about it. Psychedelics have never had any spiritual component to me. As an introvert, as an introspective guy who spent a lot of time by himself in dark rooms, thinking about the universe and how it works. When I took psychedelics, that was a relief to me. And there is no such thing as being too high, except once. When I did that surveying job, I ended up in, that I talked about earlier, after that peyote experience, and I ended up in the Mount Baker National Forest, working in the snow and whatever. So I come back to the Bay Area, and I'm dying to get hold of a chemical. And up to that time, all I'd ever done was Osley acid, which is best shit ever made. So I had no idea how iffy other chemicals could be. So I finally find this guy, and he gives me
hallucinogens or drugs in general.
Well, what do you mean?
Like cocaine or heroin or stuff like that, or just like mushrooms and...
Oh yeah, cocaine, heroin. I never gave much of a shit about that stuff. Psychedelics.
Okay.
But not natural things like peyote or shrooms, stuff people made in their bathtubs. So anyway, I find this old buddy of mine, and he gives me a green machine from Portland, which is supposed to be acid, and I popped that thing. And I made two mistakes. The first one, when it came on like some kind of DMT, Thorazine, meth trifecta, was not having a couple pops of booze, which I learned later would mediate any situation like that. And the other was hanging out with a half dozen of my old Bay Area buddies, guys I'd grown up with, because they weren't doing any psychedelics. So anyway, shit gets really weird, and there's these extreme visual and auditory hallucinations, and I'd been having sinus trouble since I came back after working in the snow. So I got what I at least imagined was the worst earache of my life. And it felt like someone was, working this drill through my head. And so my buddy Acid Mac was there. He just died this year, a great guy. And he was a Navy medic on leave at the time. So he went home and came back, and he had a vial, for some reason, of Novocaine. So he and my other buddy, I call him Ned Gumbo when I mentioned him before. His actual name was Guy. He was the guy. We were always the two craziest guys in the room, and it took us years to become friends. And in the meanwhile, we were adversaries, always trying to kill each other. So they put me on a couch. They leaned me over the couch like this, and they had me lean my head up like that. And the argument in the room was, if I was having a horrible earache on acid, did that mean I needed more Novocaine to get rid of it, or less, because I was so sensitive, No. And Gype, of course, won out. And so he took the stopper off the vial of Novocaine, and he poured the whole vial in my ear.
Oh, God, no. No.
I remember him going, that should take care of it. And, I looked at the whole right side of my head turned into concrete. I go, and I wrote them a note demanding that they take me to the ER. And they went, fuck that, we don't want to be involved. And so what they did instead was take me, there was a theater down the street, they took me to see Valley of the Dolls, a movie about people killing themselves on pills. And for oh, it was almost a week. It did something to the nerves or something in my face. Go talk like that. And I went to a job interview the next day, and one of the reasons I got that job was because of that. It was a job to be a store detective. So, you know, it was a group of losers, and they liked people playing roles. So, you know, you'd go into stores and try to catch clerks stealing out of the cash register. They had all these buyback methods you used and everything. And so they had a housewife and a college girl and a black guy. And they said, you're perfect. You know, you'll be the loser, unemployable guy, you know. So I'm still, you know, walking around doing that. I'm completely weirded out. It left me drooling, unable to speak. And I didn't, you'd think after that, when I finally got my senses back, that you'd stay away from drugs forever. But I knew I had to get back on the horse. I wasn't going to let that 60s drug cornucopia go by without me. I just resolved after that to, you know, embrace the strangeness, as Hunter Thompson said, to, you know, just buy the ticket, take the ride. You know, just go with, and besides that, psychedelics made my cigarettes taste better.
Did they really?